The Enoch cinematic universe continues with another book being added to expand the lore, the Third Book of Enoch. But this time, Enoch ain't no mortal. He's been transformed into an all-powerful angel known as Metatron, and now sits beside God as the second most powerful being in the universe. I've already covered the first and second book of Enoch in my previous videos. If you haven't already, go check them out. The Third Book of Enoch is also known as the Hebrew Book of Enoch and Sefer Hekhalot, meaning the Book of the Palaces. The surviving version of the first Enoch was written in Ethiopic, while the second Enoch was written in Old Slavonic. The third Enoch, however, was written entirely in Hebrew, though we can see some Greek and Aramaic influences sneaking in. Now, the first and second books of Enoch fall under the branch of apocalyptic texts, as they feature vivid imagery, prophetic visions, and detailed descriptions of the end times, including the fall of angels and the future judgment of humanity. Most of the content in those books focuses on Enoch's heavenly ascents and his encounters with divine beings. But the Third Book of Enoch is a different beast. It doesn't belong to the apocalyptic tradition at all. Instead, it falls under Merkaba mysticism, which emphasizes angelology, divine hierarchies, and esoteric knowledge. So, it's not a direct sequel. Think of it more like a spin-off, where Enoch's legend gets a dramatic reimagining. Not only was he taken to heaven, but he was actually transformed into Metatron, the highest angel. While the first and second books were written between the 3rd century BCE and the 1st century CE, the third Enoch was written much later, between the 5th and 6th centuries CE. Just like its predecessors, the Third Book of Enoch isn't included in the biblical canon. This book is attributed to Rabbi Ishmael ben Elisha, the high priest. But scholars are skeptical. They consider it pseudepigraphal, since it was written long after Ishmael's time. Still, it's through Ishmael's visions that we get a peek into the celestial mysteries of God's realm. This book contains 48 chapters, which can be split into 4 parts. The heavenly ascension of Ishmael, the transformation of Enoch into Metatron, angelology, and divine governance, the heavenly mysteries. The first part deals with Ishmael's ascent to heaven. One day, Ishmael got high, in his mental state of course, and had visions of traveling to heaven. If you've watched my video on the second Enoch, you'll know that there's not just one, but multiple layers of heaven above us. Ishmael travels through them all, and eventually reaches the 7th heaven. I ascended on high to witness the vision of the Merkaba, and I had entered the 6 halls, which were situated within one another. As soon as I reached the door of the 7th hall, I stood still in prayer before the Holy One, blessed be He. Then the angel Metatron comes and welcomes Ishmael into the 7th hall. Ishmael was thrilled to see the Merkaba, but his joy didn't last long. The angels on the chariot fixed their eyes on him, and he started shaking and trembling so hard that God had to tell the angels to cover their eyes. Ishmael says that even after the trembling stopped, he didn't have the strength to sing or praise the Lord. The second part of the book reveals who Metatron really is. Ishmael learns that he is none other than Enoch, the righteous man taken into heaven by God. I am Enoch, the son of Jared, when the generation of the flood sinned and were twisted and contorted in their deeds, saying unto God, Depart from us. We do not want the knowledge of your ways. Then the Holy One, blessed be He, removed me from their midst, so that I could be a witness against them in the high heavens to all the inhabitants of the world. It seems that God took Enoch to stand as a witness against the evil deeds of that generation, so no one in the future could question God's actions against them. But Enoch's arrival in heaven wasn't exactly met with open arms. As soon as I reached the high heavens, the holy Chayoth, the Ophanim, the Seraphim, the Cherubim, the wheels of the Merkaba, and the ministers of the consuming fire, all smelled my scent from a distance of 365,000 myriads of parasangs, and said, "What smells like one born from woman, and what tastes like a white drop? Who is this that ascends on high? He is merely a gnat among those who can divide flames of fire." The Chayoth Ophanim, Seraphim, and Cherubim are all different classes of angels. They smell the scent of Enoch and make an hateful and distasteful statement. Yeah, white drop in this verse means exactly what you think it means. But Enoch gets the last laugh. He's raised to the throne of glory, receives divine knowledge and wisdom, and gets treated like a VIP in heaven. I was honored and adorned with all these good praiseworthy things more than all the children of heaven. And just when you think it can't get more dramatic, God goes all out and transforms Enoch into the angelic being Metatron. An ordinary human turned into a cosmic powerhouse. Sounds amazing, right? Well, it comes with a few terrifying upgrades. Metatron, the Prince of the Presence, said to me, "After all these things the Holy One, blessed be He, put His hand on me, and blessed me with 5,360 blessings. And I was raised up and grew to the size of the length and width of the world. And He caused 72 wings to grow on me, 36 on each side. And each wing covered the entire world. And He attached to me 365 eyes. Each eye was as the great luminary. And He left no kind of splendor, brilliance, radiance, beauty of all the lights of the universe that He did not affix to me." Wait, aren't angels supposed to have just 2 wings and a handsome face? Well, my friends, it's time you check out some biblically accurate angel memes. After the transformation, God gives Metatron a throne and his own curtain, similar to the throne of glory. Then He makes Metatron the ruler of the 7th heaven. The announcement went as follows: "This is Metatron, my servant. I have made him a prince and ruler over all the princes of my kingdoms and over all the children of heaven, except the 8 great, honored, and revered princes who are the ones called Yahweh by the name of their king." The 8 beings called Yahweh are highly ranked powerful angels who have the word Yahweh as part of their names. "And every angel and prince who has a word to speak to me shall now go before him, and they shall speak to him instead of me. And every command that he speaks to you in my name, you will obey, carry out, and fulfill." Soon, Metatron gained the ability to see everything. He could now see every person's thoughts before they even thought them, and everyone's actions before they even did them. Nothing was hidden from him. Thus, Metatron, who was previously a mortal known as Enoch, became an omniscient being. Now this is where things get even more interesting. God places a crown on Metatron's head and calls him the Lesser Yahweh, basically Yahweh Jr. "And He called me the Lesser Yahweh in the presence of all His heavenly household, for it is written, for my name is in him." All the beings in heaven shook, feared, and trembled before Metatron. Even Samuel, the prince of the accusers, who is greater than all the princes of nations on high, feared me and shook before me. In Jewish tradition, Samuel is the archangel and archenemy of the archangel Michael and of Israel. He is associated with all things related to death and destruction. In Christian tradition, he's basically Satan and is considered the king of demons. So yes, even Satan got scared of Metatron. Metatron was doing pretty good until a certain rabbi named Elisha ben Abuya showed up in heaven. Upon seeing Metatron sitting beside God in all his glory, judging everyone like a celestial king, Abuya completely misunderstood the situation and exclaimed, "Surely there are 2 divine powers in heaven." Yep, Abuya basically said that there are 2 gods in heaven, which was a huge mistake, and guess who had to pay the price for the misunderstanding? Poor Metatron, who had nothing to do with it. God was not pleased, so He called upon Anil Yahweh, an angel who specializes in punishment, and ordered him to take Metatron off the throne and give him a good old-fashioned divine beatdown, 60 whips of fire. A brutal reminder that no matter how powerful you get, you're still not the God. Elisha ben Abuya committed an unforgivable sin by equating Enoch to God-level status, and thus every other rabbi started calling him the Acre, which means the other or outcast. This chapter is considered by scholars as a later addition to preserve monotheism and to remind everyone who's the real boss in heaven and to not follow an Acre's footsteps and become an Acre yourself. Talmudic sources such as Sanhedrin and Chagiga also mention this event. Now, moving on to the third part of the Third Book of Enoch, we find that it primarily focuses on the descriptions of various types of angels and their specific roles. This section reveals that each natural element is governed by distinct angels, each entrusted with a unique responsibility. Additionally, it provides profound insights into the workings of divine justice, mercy, and the judgment of the wicked. Now comes the fourth part, and things get even more mystical. We find out that the very letters engraved on the throne of glory are what created the entire universe. We also learn that the souls of the righteous are housed in a chamber near the throne of God called the Guf. These souls are in the waiting line to be clothed in flesh for their incarnation. But this begs a question. If the characters of the souls are already determined and they are stored accordingly, does this mean we have no control over our actions? In the next chapter, we learn that the souls of the unrighteous and the souls that are in between are placed in place called Sheol. The souls that are in the intermediate state are waiting to get purified and cleansed by subscribing to the mythical History Channel, while the unrighteous souls suffer deep down in Sheol. Enough with the divine warehouse. Now comes the divine database. The curtain of the throne of God contains a record of all the events that occurred in the past and those that are about to happen in the future. Metatron takes Rabbi Ishmael to show it to him. There, Ishmael saw all the works and deeds, accomplishments and actions of the people of Israel and other nations. Then he saw two messiahs. And I saw Messiah, the son of Joseph, and his generation, and their accomplishments and actions that they will do against the nations of the world. And I saw Messiah, the son of David, and his generation, and all the fights and wars, and their accomplishments and actions that they will do with Israel both for good and evil. And I saw all the fights and wars that Gog and Magog will fight with Israel in the days of Messiah, and all that the Holy One, blessed be He, will do with them in the time to come. This dual Messiah concept is seen in many Jewish texts. Messiah, son of Joseph, is a priestly, wise, and suffering figure who dies in battle, while Messiah, son of David, is the royal warrior who brings final victory by defeating Gog and Magog. In some stories, Messiah, son of David, even brings Messiah, son of Joseph, back to life. Is Messiah, son of Joseph, none other than Jesus Christ? Some characteristics may seem similar, but Jesus didn't fully fit the criteria of the first Messiah. However, some Christian traditions believe Jesus embodies both roles, Messiah, son of Joseph, during his first coming, and Messiah, son of David, in the second, thus fulfilling both prophecies. The book ends with the final chapter stating the 70 names of Metatron and their significance.